everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on a directional fabric, but on point. It's been cut on point. Here's an example. The mountains go this way, that sort of thing. Hold on, I'll get out of the pile here so you can see another one. There we go. There we go. Okay, and I kind of was inspired by, I got a 1 yard bundle of Lily Bloom, I think, or Lily Loom, and there was this chunk in there, and I thought, I'll save it for back to something or save it for other project. And it's just on the diamond, but it's got a little bit of sashing. It's just a piece of fabric. It's just, you know, almost faux quilted. Or pieced, and I really liked it. So I thought, you know, how can I do this to make it be on point? So, and not too big of a square. As much as I like the diamond, I thought we could use a square and don't use the sashing. So I'll keep this for another project. And I have used quite a bit of the material already making 2 other baby quilts. And I will show you how to do it, how to cut it that way, okay? So I chose to use 6-inch. Okay, it's a 6-inch square. And then if you go to a site that is called quiltersparadiseesc.com, it's a triangle calculator. So you put in what sort of square size it is, and then it tells you what needs to be for your finished side. For what these are the outer corners, and then the ones that get filled in as you're building out your on point. Okay, so and for the 6 I needed 9 3/4, and then you cut it diagonally, and then that's going to give you 4 pieces. So I have a bunch here. I have like 16 here. I've got 4 more to cut. I just didn't want to have, I didn't want to run out, so I just made sure I had more than enough. And then I've cut a bunch of these fabrics, pretty much left over from the stash of making 2 other quilts to build this one out. So it should be a lot of fun. Can't wait. Okay, so first we'll put that one off to the side after we cut it on the angle to give us 2 more pieces. I've got the green bears and the blue bears. And I'm just going to cut it from corner to corner and corner to corner, and then that's just going to go in my stack, okay? All right, so here we go. Super easy, 9 3/4. And of course, make sure there's lots to trim up so you can square it up easy peasy, right? Okay, there we go. There, there, and there. That goes in that stack. And we're going to use them just kind of whatever. I pick whatever color, or I may just do all the blues and the grays and the greens and whatever. We'll figure it out as we go along. Okay, so here is a piece of fabric that we're going to cut. So we're getting directional squares out of it. Okay, so what I found the easiest way to do, and because I'm doing 6, this made math sense to me, and it seems to be working out. I'm sure there may be an easier way to do this, but you know, live and learn. Try not to cut over yourself. So give yourself enough room. Got to dance around your cutting table, then do so. It just makes things a little bit easier, okay? So what I found, move this over here, sorry, is that if I went 6 inches across up here and then 6 inches across down here and then lined that up, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that gave me my first cut line, okay? And I'm going to cut that triangle off, and that just goes to the scrappy pile. Like I said, I've already done 2 quilts out of this, getting a 3rd and a bit extra. I'm more than pleased with that. And then I'm going to cut it. This is my ruler. It is 6 inches wide. That's another reason why I chose to do it 6 inches. And then I'm going to cut here as well. And then I'm going to move this ruler over to that cut line and line it up. And then I'm going to cut again all the way across. And then I'm going to move the ruler over to that cut line and all the way across. And then I'm going to do the reverse in the other way. And then that's going to get us our directional pieces, okay? It should be fun, okay? Now you can mark this out if you like. I've only got 2 pieces to go, and I've done quite a few, so I'm just gonna, you know, wing it like I normally do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just butting up my ruler right on that line and doing the same as I come across the left and, or the up and the down and the back and the forth, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And making sure I get a nice clean cut on both sides. Nice even pressure as you're cutting. Okay. And then this just goes to the extra pile. All right. And then you're going to line up your ruler on your cut line and go all the way up. Now, because of, depending on the length of fabric you're using, this is just what was left over from 1 yard cuts. And so, you know, you got to shift your ruler up, making sure you're still on the line on this side before you continue. And like I said, nice even pressure. So move the ruler over again, line her up. Got one little thread. It's always one that wants to hold on. Okay, and then of course you can scoot your ruler up because you really don't need it to cut until all you're worried about here. So you can scoot it up, make sure you're right on the line, right on your cut line, and then here, and then almost to the end, and then up to continue. Okay, and then we're going to do it the opposite direction, and that'll get us our beautiful on-point squares. Okay. And I know I'm not going to get another big one out of that, so it'll just go off to the scrappy pile. It's going to be a big collection of scrap. I thought, well, it's kind of a bit of a fabric waster, but, you know, if you really want to do something, to challenge yourself, put something, a directional fabric on point. You can put sashing between, just the same idea, just, you know, add whatever it is number that you want for the width, you know. I wouldn't do it too big. Okay, just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm resting my ruler on that spot right there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to there. Okay, well, because my sewing machine's in the way a bit, I'm just going to scoot my ruler up. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm trying to make sure my fabric is, you know, directionally 90 degrees in a corner, right? Okay, and again, 2 more for the pile. And then we'll have to shift this one down because it moved. Come here, you. There we go. And if you need to put masking tape to hold all your stuff together, then do so. It's okay. Okay, so lining that up, making sure I'm getting a nice clean cut. It's far away from my hand, even pressure. Okay. And then again, lining up, making sure I'm putting my trees back together. Okay, line up on the cut line. Right there, nice even pressure. I could have worked from this way over. That probably would have been a little bit smarter. But since I've already started, I will just be extra careful. Okay. Okay, nice and steady. There's no rushing when cutting. Okay, and then again line it up, and then you'll end up with beautiful little pieces just like that. Okay, and then you end up with some weird pieces, but you can just cut them down to smaller squares. You know, you can always just do that, recycle it into something else, use all the triangles, put it in your scrappy bin, you know, make something else, a little collage for the room. Okay. And that's about all I'm going to get out of this. So I'm going to take away the pieces that I'm not going to use, and you'll see out of that chunk of fabric what we can and can't use. Oh, can't use that one either. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it wasn't a very big piece to begin with. And of course you could piece these edges a bit, you know. They'll just go into another project, okay? So it depends on how big you want to build this quilt. I'm trying to do a baby one, okay? Principle plays the same. This is clouds. I'm not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can. It's just got clouds in it, and I want to make sure those clouds are directional, okay? So of course I'd lay it out, and like you could chalk it, you can, whatever makes you more comfortable. If you need to make the lines first and then go cut on those lines, so it's comfortable, you can just flip and flop. That's, you know, whatever is going to make it easy peasy for you, okay? 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, let's go from this side. It doesn't matter, up, down, across, whichever works best for you. There we go, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So whatever gets the job done. Like I said, there's probably an easier way to do this, but this is what I figured out, and it seems to work for me, so I'm happy. And then finding that little calculator the corners and the triangle wedges to go in between to make your rows. Makes it a whole lot easier trying to figure the steps out. And of course, in the calculator, you could put whatever size. If you had 12, 18, 64, whatever. Not that you'd have something that big, but you never know. It's nice to have, if you have a small wall hanging and you want to bulk it out, put big triangles on either corner, and you can always do it that way. There we go, and cut. So that's pile, and then here, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, and cut. Okay, and then you can either, whichever way works for you, and make sure the safest way. Always put nice even pressure on your ruler. There's grippy handle thingies there too that you could use. Okay. Just be careful. Keep the digits. Okay, we should be able to get one out of this spot over here. Okay, perfect. 1, 2, 3. One little hair together there. Fuzzies. Okay, like I say, you can always piece them if you really were desperate for that sort of fabric. I have lots to work with, so I only needed a couple of each color. So, oh, that's a good one there too. But some of these are just little tips are off, just because it was the size of fabric. Okay. That it was left over and I just chose to use it. Okay, so now I've got my other gray, which should leave me with 4 grays, 4 greens, and 4 blues. Okay. And they are all the same pattern, just in the different colors. Okay. Now, some I have more of others because I've added them to other bits of quilts. And I just kind of want to build something out, whether I do the blues, the grays, the greens, because I've done a couple of mixed ones already. And these were just cut squared. I didn't put them any different way. These were 6-inch squares and a little 2-inch little border there. And then there was another one that was 5-inch squares, and then I did a little 4-patch with some gray material that I just got in the shop. It was the backing actually to Jo Marie's cardinal, and I liked it because it was enough gray to match. So, and then that one turned out for that one. Okay, and just pieced it up together. Just used up some squares and went with it. Okay. All right, so let's put those there. And now what you want to do is, because you need a corner, because you need 4 corners, obviously. And then you pick out the first piece you want to start with. And I thought, okay, well, maybe we could, you know, do it so it's all matchy in the row, and then each row is different. And then you build out how many you want. So you're thinking maybe 4 will do it because you're going to do a border or 2, or you think maybe 5 will do it of that color, because then you know you only got 4 of the other ones, because it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know, you could always mix and match. I could pick all these mountain ones of the colors, like do the green and then the gray, and then just keep building out. I mean, how you lay it out is completely up to you. Okay. Don't have a lot of those ones. So maybe, no, I'll save that for a 5 across, and I could put something else in between. So let's just say you just gotta think about it and how you want it to lay out. And then of course these arrows, you want them either going up or down or mixing them up all the way. And then you just put that there and there. Ooh, that's a little shy on the top. Snaggles. Okay. But make sure, I'd say, you know, if you want to mix and match, then make sure that they're flipped and flopped, and, you know, it's not confusing to anybody. You know, that they're all up or they're all down, or they're, you know, opposite. Okay. And then we're going to have a piece of one of these triangles here, and one of these triangles up there to help build it out. Okay. And we're just going to sew each row as we go along, and just kind of have a thought plan out beforehand of how you want to go about it. You know, whether you want the 5, the 6. I think the 5 is going to work for us. That's what I'm looking for. Let's do that. And then I need my other corner up in here. And then, of course, build the other rows. And then, you know, put your little triangle wedges in. And keep building your rows down. So let's grab a green. Let's grab the green clouds. Okay. We should have enough. And these green clouds are going to go right in here. Okay. And that's why, you know, a design board is great for this. Putting it on the spare bed, you know, even if you just can tack a flannel sheet to the wall and be able to lay it out. There's a bit of a static kind of cling with flannel. It helps kind of stick fabric to it without having to use pins. So, and that's just how you want to lay it out. You just want to count and make sure you got a nice pleasing idea for the design. You could put all these, you know, blues in a row this way. You know, I thought it'd be something neat to kind of go across and then just build some colors out and so on and so forth. So that's what we're going to do. So I kind of like these first 3 rows, and yeah, so we're going to start. We'll sew a few together so you can kind of get the idea what I was up to. And then you can tell me what you're up to today. Okay. Now you make sure you don't want to flip and flop this at any point in time, because then you're not going to get it on the direction that you're hoping for, right? So, you know, make sure you're either pinning it or you got it safely in your hand when you get into the machine, because you don't want to sew on the wrong side. Okay, and then just making sure you have those little tips. These are the triangles that you cut via the calculator, and then that just make sure you have something to sew on and sew off, and then sewing these guys to it as well. Okay, all right. It's been very, very cold up here. The past few days have been very bitter. But the sun is shining today, and we'll take whatever sunshine we can get. That's for sure. Okay, so there's my one corner. And then I'm going to add my 2 triangle pieces to this side, and that's going to pretty much finish my first row. You have to think of this as each row is a triangle adding onto the bottom of that triangle, a nice big long one, okay? So I like it that the blue bears are there, so I'm going to attach the blue bears. And what you want to do is, it's not the long side. The long side is going to go to the outside of the quilt, okay? And of course that's cut on the bias, so that's going to get a little stretchy. So try not to play with that too much, okay? And just line it up, making sure you got your nice square down here. And then flip and flop, and these can cross out here as much as they want. You'd want them to overlap, because that's going to build up the stability of the quilt by them overlapping, okay? And then you can always add a border, or you don't even have to, okay? All right. Now we're going to add our second piece, which is the green bears, and do it the same way. And I just cut the one fabric of the green X's, or the little stitches there, and use that as my 4 corners. And I just figured I'd use all the other colors to fill in the outside triangles. It was the lighter tones of the fabric. I didn't use them as squares in the quilt. I'm using them as outside triangles. So. Okay, so there's our one piece, okay? And we're going to just keep building this out this way, but on the point, okay? So let's give that a little press, and then we'll work our second row, and I'll show you how we put those together, okay? Thank you to everyone who wished Pop a happy birthday on Wednesday, on November 21st. That was his birthday, so thank you very much. Okay, so we want to add this, put the row together first and then add it, okay? So from this point on, we go triangle to the square, 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 and then triangle to the square, okay? Just work it that way, okay? Just line it up and then do a little sew, okay? I wonder if just standing would be easier for today. It seems to be a bit back and forth. Okay, let's sew these 2 together, since we know they're there. and then we will add, here, let's put this, lay this back out where we need it to be. Okay. We don't want to get messed up now. And we know that gray is our second row. And then we're going to line the blue right up with the bear at that point. Okay, so put the point together, and then sew down that one side, and then we'll add the 2 squares together. Lay it back out, make sure everybody's in position, we're okay. Add those 2, and that's our second row almost done. And we'll give it a little press, and then we'll attach it to the first. And however many rows you want is depending how big this is going to be, right? Because you can just keep going and going and going. Oop. All right, so there's our second row. Okay. The first row is going to be attached right here. So just give that a little press. All right. And then we line up with our first row. Now we're going to line up at these seams, okay? Flipping the first one to the second, pinning at those seams, and then we're just going to sew down. Okay, so put a few here. And right there. Just make sure it's going to look really nice when all those seams match up, okay? And make sure you cross over here. Okay. Let's give that a sew. Sorry. That should row 2 be done, okay? So just like that. And then we just keep building and building and building and figure out what we want for the 4th row, color-wise. Okay, so let's give that a little press. And of course I can always make something else with the one that came with the package, the one that's on diamond on, and then with a little bit of sashing. Okay. So there we go. Is it pretty? I love it. All right, so let's figure out what we're going to do for the next color. Put those there. What looks good next? Because we need to do a blue. So I'll have to do blue. Let's do the blue mountains. Okay, let's do these blue mountains. Tuck that right in there. And of course they're very directional. That's what I thought would be a nice little challenge to this. The bears weren't, and neither were the X's. That's why I thought to keep them to the outside. Keep all the directional main focus of the fabric to the inside. So of course this one, if we have 5, these ones we need 4 because we're alternating, right? And we just build it out from there. So let's take this. Let's do a gray bear. Okay. So this will be this part here. That goes up there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. Oh, we need one more. Okay, now what? That would be the gray one. So let's do these ones. Okay. There. Yeah, there we go. Looks like we were missing a row there. There, there, there. And we only need, we need 5 of those, okay, which we got, okay? And that's how I'm just going to keep building this out until I get the size that I want. So I've said 5 across and then the corner. And then there's enough opportunity with this beautiful backing fabric that I have here which is the Gray Mountains. I did get three yards of it, and I have used some of it in the other part of the quilt. So, oops, upside down, but I'll turn it this way. And of course, it is directional, so I had to make sure when I was placing it that I was laying it the right way and the mountains weren't upside down. Not that I think it really matters, but you know, if you were doing a border and you wanted to keep that in line, you would want to make sure you're cutting a big strip of that one side. So maybe think about that when you're using border fabric, which way you really want it to lay, right? Okay, so that's going to be my weekend project. I hope you challenge yourself with something really neat like that too, something directional. Christmas fabrics would be awesome. There's lots of directional Christmas fabrics. It doesn't even have to be directional, but that's the challenge. Okay, thanks everybody. Have yourself a fantastic day, and we'll have to wait for some pictures so I can show you how this progressed. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.